give Pokemon for example, because I've got them in front of me here. Do you remember playing Pokemon Red or Blue on the big block Game Boy? Because it wasn't even color; it was black and white.
Yeah, and if you had it on a color, it was red. It was red if it was red, and it was blue if it was blue. It weren't no colors. Yeah.
Like even when I clocked that bit of information, when I plugged in Pokemon Red into my Game Boy Color, which was purple by the way. I'm upset I never got the Pikachu one. I actually wanted that.
Oh,
Pikachu.
You could have got like they had that Nintendo 64 like that as well, didn't they?
Yeah. Like I'm telling you, like if I had my way as a child, I would have the Pokemon themed like console area. I'd have everything like Pokemon based. It's a joke.
I don't think much blew up like Pokemon, from them.
Because Pokemon is, if I remember correctly, is the most successful brand, like media brand or whatever, in the world.
Is that what they said? I don't know, but I think I would agree with it just because of the hype that came out when Pokemon Go come about. That was like, you could see how it
that was the best summer ever, by the way. That was the best summer.
If you weren't catching Pokemon, even if it was only for 2 weeks, I don't know what you was doing.
I remember me and Chris, where did we go? We went to a park somewhere, and it was late. I'm talking like it was 10, 11 o'clock at night. And bear in mind, I was 26 at this point, Hold my hands up, no shame. Okay, I know 40-year-old man that play Pokemon Go still to this day.
To this day.
And I remember we just went and caught some rant. We were just late. But anyway, we digress. The way Pokemon looked back then was unbelievable. Because you're like, you knew that it was blocky and kind of 2-ish 3D, but you've never seen anything like it before.
That changed the game, man. The battles, the play, everything about it, the way you was fighting people, and it was different. Free roam. You had to go look for little hidden Easter eggs and stuff like that. But that paved the way, I think, man.
I think that was the biggest thing. I think that the free roam element of Pokemon back in the day was before its time. Because think about it, how many free roaming games were there really? No,
that's what. Do you know what? Without realizing, that was one of the first games that I probably owned, shall we say? And I actually got into and I took it everywhere. Any family event I went to, wherever, I always had my Game Boy with me. Man, without realizing, that actually was a pretty...
it was
one of the first to do it, I think, man.
Yeah. Honestly, I cannot think of a free roaming game before Pokemon was out.
I'm trying to think. Maybe there was, and we just don't remember. If there is, then let us know. But
if there is, comments below, let us know, because my mind's running back. I'm trying to think if GTA was GTA before or was after?
No, I don't.
Because GTA wasn't technically free roam, because you were running around, but you had to do your missions.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was now. Back then,
it's nothing like it was now. I mean, even GTA. When you look at GTA 1.
We're going to get onto that. We'll get onto that a bit later on. Back to the old school games, man. You're talking about the Game Boys, even like back to your Sega. Do you remember anything else you played on that Sega Genesis, man?
Lion King.
That
Lion King game. Listen, that Lion King game, I wasted hours. And this guy must have thought I had no home to go to.
You did not waste. You invested.
But this guy, I bear in mind, I did not buy a coffee, I did not buy a drink, I did not buy a chewing gum from this guy. I just used to roll into a shop after school and just play Lion King.
Play his games.
We knew, Nicola, if you're watching this, if you remember me, I was about this tall, no beard, skinny, very brown with curls.
I really hope he sees it, man.
If you see this, Nicola Moore, put a comment down below, man, because it was unbelievable. The guy just let me walk into a shop and play Sega. The guy, I never bought a thing from him. Just, then you go, crack on. Which means, Sodri, are you okay? I sit there, have like a 30-second conversation with him and just like, I'm going to play my game now.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
That was it. I was there for hours. Like, no one knew where I was, but I was at this coffee shop.
Lion King, boy.
Lion King, I'm telling you. And the thing is, I feel like Lion King, graphic-wise, was a little bit ahead of its time. Because it didn't look very good for a Sega game. It was crisp.
Was it crisp? Good.
It was crisp.
To be fair, I feel the same way about that Turtles video we just watched as well. I feel like, like when you compare that to Doom.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, they were the first. Maybe it was a 16-bit then. I don't know about 8-bit. I'm not sure.
Because Doom, I'm pretty sure Doom.
Must have been.
If I remember, was an 8-bit.
Yeah. And then that looked maybe more 16.
There weren't a lot of 8-bit games.
I think they come from early doors, the 8-bit ones.
Yeah.
Early doors, Commodore 64
I was
before our
literally about
time.
to say Commodore 64. Wow.
Before our time. I mean, there's one in my loft, but it ain't mine, and I've never played it. Don't even know if it works.
That's an
But,
antique, man.
yeah, yeah.
That's legally classified as an antique.
I mean, Sega Master System, there was a game
Yeah.
called Secret Command that I used to
Yes.
play. Yeah, it was like a Rambo. It was called Secret Command, but it was like a Rambo thing. I think that might have been 8-bit. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but that was Master System was late 80s, so that was before I think the Genesis and the SNES.
Yeah.
But I mean, what else? Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart on the Super
Super
Nintendo.
Mario 64.
Was,
Super Mario 64 was unbelievable.
and any Mario Kart, yeah. You see, you say 64. If you played the first one, this, bro.
I don't remember the first one. I'll be honest with you. I remember Mario Kart 64.
When you see the video, when you watch it back, you see the thing I put in. Yeah. I would have clicked it. Go on.
So we've spoken about Nintendo 64.
Right.
There's one thing we haven't mentioned, which I'm appalled at both of us. GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
Come on, man. GoldenEye was Call of Duty. It was the 64 Call of Duty. It was unbelievable. That multiplayer where you're going through the map and you've got to try and find the golden gun. And the thing is, you're playing with someone, and you try and guess where they were based on
you could scream, scream watch.
And you've been pretending to try and find, like, oh, where are you? Yeah, he's there, so he must be around the corner. Yeah, I know where he is. You steam in full pelt and just start shooting. Mate, GoldenEye. I remember my cousin had it for years. I used to go to Cyprus after I moved back to England. I lived in Cyprus when I was 5 till I was about 9, 10. But whenever I'd go to Cyprus every summer for holiday, as every Cypriot person did when they were a kid.
Oh yeah.
I'd go to my cousin's house in the village. Yeah, Nintendo 64. I'm like, yeah, what's going on, cuz? You alright? Straight upstairs, GoldenEye, Mario Kart. That was it. I go to the village just to play those games, man. Hour and a half drive just to play like GoldenEye for like 3 hours. Before we go into this game, and I start abusing him for not playing this game, are there any other old school games that stand out to you?
What, on the PlayStation are we talking
about?
No.
Pre-PlayStation. Before we get into PlayStation, I'm just thinking now. Because I feel like there's a couple that we're missing.
Well, there's a couple we're missing. I know the one you're thinking, so I'll let you say that one. But for me, I didn't talk about, I touched on it, but I mentioned them 3 games at the beginning: Mario Kart, Turtles, and Street Fighter, man. Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That game, yeah. You know what? I only clipped Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because it's more like a level game, whereas Street Fighter's the same thing, Mario Kart's the same thing. But Street Fighter, that game, I think, if I had to pick a number one, not a clip, but a number one game, Street Fighter was
up there.
So basic. There was no super moves, man.
Standard beat 'em up.
Oh, it was the best. I
can't. Because you had Street Fighter, and then you had Tekken.
Tekken was later though, obviously.
Tekken was on arcade and on PlayStation. I remember that.
You had Mortal Kombat 2 on SNES, but for me, some people might have played that, but for me, it was always Street Fighter, man. But I know the game you're thinking of. I mean, we haven't even mentioned. To be fair, I don't know if you're thinking of it. We ain't even mentioned Sonic. I don't know if that even come in your head.
No, that's not what I was thinking about.
I know what you're thinking about.
I was thinking about something graphically more confusing. And you know what it is.
Oh, I'm not going to guess just in case I'm wrong. Mortal Kombat. Ah, he was thinking Mortal Kombat. Did you have that on the Genesis, yeah?
Yeah.
I thought you was thinking Pokemon, the card game, man. Card game.
Ah, that's a good point.
Because we spoke about it when we discussed the episode, how every kid I knew had these Pokemon cards, but no one knew what to do with them. And then that card game kind of was like, this is what you do with them.
Yeah. The worst thing is, that's not the game I was thinking of, and I've got it right here.
You had, there it is. Right there, look. Right there.
Fully completed.
We spoke about it. Underrated. Both loved it. Both
easily the most underrated of all the Pokemon games.
Yeah, because you're not expecting it.
I did not expect to be that engrossed in a game. I
mean, I don't know about like you, but when I'm watching Pokemon, the advert comes up to go and buy a Pokemon, whatever game it was, it was like, I wanted it. So that was on my Christmas list, my birthday list, like I want that game. So that's how I ended up getting that card game. When I first put it in, I was confused. Obviously, where's the Pokemon? But
yeah, because you're running around, and I remember the music so clearly in my head, that really annoying music. And what was his name? There was this guy who you have to find him. Right, he'd be in one of the gyms randomly, and he was wearing all black, Mr. I will say Mr. Miyagi there. It's not Mr. Miyagi, guys. I know.
You're getting confused, bro.
Oh,
It's not Mr. Fuji. No, that's
Mr.
from
Fuji. No, it's not Mr. Fuji.
Mr. Fuji's from the games, I think, from the actual games, from Red, Yellow, and all that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of his name now, and I'm not being funny. I am going to Google it because it's going to bug me. I know I'm not being ultimately professional here, but this is quite
You know
important.
what? We did it, bro. So many games we've missed. Just the original. While you're googling that, the original Super Mario, man. The original Super Mario. We didn't talk about that. That was like, I think we take that for granted as well. The original Super Mario, man. That paved the way for a lot of games as well.
You know what? The thing is, I remember being incredibly frustrated with Super Mario.
Yeah, you get to a certain stage where I feel like if you played it now, you'd probably smash it. Like you'd fly through it. But as a kid,
100%.
yeah, that was a pretty hard one, man. Super Mario. I don't think it was easy to fly through, man. Saying that, I'll probably go and find a clip of someone doing it in 10 minutes. But
Yeah, because there's a speed run, isn't it? There's a speed run.
yeah, to see who could do it the fastest.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. I think his name. I think it might. It's Mr. something. What I'm gonna do is after this is over, I'm gonna just get a clip and you can just see it, and you're gonna see his face because his face is just like proper weird, isn't it?
It's gonna make you feel better, isn't it? It's gonna make you feel better.
Because honestly, this is one of those things where
it's gonna bug you.
It's gonna bug me, and you're gonna see me periodically doing this because I'm gonna be just like. Anyway, no, Pokemon trading card game was immense, especially when you got near the end and you're trying to get the 3 legendary birds because the reward was Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember that's when I clocked why they're called Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres.
Enlighten me.
Right.
Should I know this?
I hope you know this because right.
So we just say enlighten the listeners and the viewers, but really like you need to enlighten
really I'm helping you.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. So you've got Arctic Uno, 1, the first legendary bird. Zap, Lightning, Ghost,
no.
second legendary bird. Mole, Trace, Molten, Trace, Flaming, third bird.
See, I got Zap, Molten, and Artie, but you see the Uno and the Dose and the Trace? Oh, that's mind blown.
See? Come on.
That's mind blown.
I can't believe you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. The beginning bit I knew, but the end bit was a bit.
Spanish wasn't really a thing for you, no?
I went Cyprus every year, mate.
So did I.
Okay, sorry.
¿Cómo está, muchacho? Anyone who's Spanish watching this, man, ignore me. I don't know what I'm on about.
But look, we didn't discuss doing this, but I feel like I'm going to ask you anyway, before we move on to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Of that old school genre, yeah. I know you're going to find it hard to pick one. If you can only pick one, do you know what you'll pick?
One game.
I ain't going to judge you because honestly, I don't even think I could pick 5 like that. I want it like without feeling guilty that I've left the others out.
All right, I'm trying to think now. If you're saying one game
for you personally, like you can't play any other one again.
I can't play anything else again up until the new console, up until this generation, or I can't play anything else ever again.
No, we're leaving out of Super Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy Color, Master System. So yeah, the best out of them, shall we say?
That's me. That's rude. That's cruel. That's
I'm asking you, I'm thinking about it.
And all right, just because of the sheer enjoyment I got and how long I played it for, because you got to remember you're talking longevity here as well.
Yeah.
Because some of these games, 5 hours and you're finished with it.
Yes.
Never
pick it up again.
I think there's the game that I'm going to play. You can complete it after 6 hours.
There you go.
And this is nowhere near.
Yes.
I'm going for Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, I'll probably go for Pokemon as well. Anyone? Red, yellow, blue.
Yeah. You're allowed to have Pikachu running around behind you.
Do you know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I sacked him off early doors.
Nah, I couldn't. Man. I couldn't. I was such a fan of Pikachu in the series, and because I believed the hype, I was like, yeah, he is powerful. He can get me through anything, and he was the first one to faint.
Nice.
He was the first one to faint on my team every time.
That's what I mean. He got sacked off early doors.
Because obviously, like, look, whoever doesn't agree here at this point, you may be lying. But as soon as you got Charmander in Pokemon Yellow, first in the team, Charizard was always 20 levels above everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why was he favorite? That's definitely to do with the
Because he
series.
was a dragon. Because he was a dragon.
And he was the first one to his final form, if I remember correctly, out of all the ones Ash had, innit? So
he's the only one out of the first ones that Ash had that went to a final form. Starters. Because he had part 3 primate.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Because Bulbasaur and Squirtle stayed as Bulbasaur and Squirtle, wasn't it?
I don't even remember. I stopped watching way like early doors, man.
You've kind of left me on my own in this one, man.
Look, we had this conversation about Pokemon in general. Like, bro, for me, after Crystal, nothing else really existed. Whereas for you, sort of went a bit further on.
Listen, the only one that I haven't played is Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, Sword and Shield. And the only reason why I haven't played those is because I don't have a Switch.
Otherwise,
if I get a Switch, I'm not being funny, my nephew's left his Switch here. I might have to.
Let me borrow that after as well.
You're grounded, man. No Switch for 2 weeks.
With that, yeah.